It was supposed to be just another evening at the downtown hotel. Soft jazz filled the air, glasses clinked, and laughter echoed beneath golden chandeliers. Everything looked elegant and carefree. But behind the marble walls of the restroom, a woman's frightened voice quietly pleaded for help. A cry that was lost beneath the noise by sheer chance. A single father named Mark Jacobs, exhausted after finishing a long double shift, walked into that same hallway at the worst possible moment. What he saw next would change 3 lives forever. Hey everyone, welcome back to Kindness Chronicles, the channel where real stories remind us that kindness and courage still exist even when the world seems dark. If you believe in the power of goodness, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. Your support helps us continue spreading hope through stories like this one. Mark Jacobs never thought of himself as a hero. He was a simple man, a mechanic from Ohio, and a single dad raising his 10-year-old daughter, Lily. His life revolved around work, cooking dinner, helping with homework, and trying to hold things together after losing his wife 3 years earlier. That night, he was at the Hilton Hotel downtown fixing a broken air conditioning unit. It was already past 9 p.m., and all he wanted was to get home before Lily went to sleep. Covered in grease and sweat, he decided to stop by the restroom near the ballroom before leaving. He could hear the faint sound of laughter and music coming from the nearby charity gala. Men in suits, women in shimmering gowns, champagne glasses raised high, a world far different from his own. Among those guests was Rebecca Miles, the CEO of a major tech company. She was known for her intelligence, confidence, and strong leadership. She had built her business from the ground up, but that night, all her power couldn't protect her. Rebecca had stepped out of the ballroom to take a phone call when 2 male colleagues, men she barely knew, followed her into the hallway. At first, their voices sounded casual, even friendly, but when she tried to leave, one of them blocked her way.
"Hey, don't be like that," one slurred, clearly drunk.
"We're just having a little fun," Rebecca's heart pounded. She backed away, gripping her phone tightly, but before she could react, they cornered her near the restroom door. She could smell the alcohol on their breath. She tried to speak calmly, to stand her ground, but they ignored her. When one of them shoved her inside the women's restroom, she screamed, a sharp, desperate sound, but the loud music outside drowned it out. That's when Mark entered the hallway. He heard something, a muffled cry, a struggle. Something was wrong. He froze for a moment, heart racing. He could have kept walking. It wasn't his business.
But the same instinct that always made him protect his daughter told him he couldn't ignore it. He pushed open the restroom door. Inside, everything stopped.
2 men stood over a terrified woman, her back pressed against the marble counter. Her eyes met his, wide, frightened, pleading. Without thinking, Mark shouted, "Hey!"
"What the hell are you doing?"
The men turned, startled. "Mind your business, man," one snapped. But Mark didn't back down.
"She said no," he said firmly. One of them tried to shove him, but Mark blocked the blow and pushed him back hard.
"Get out before I call the police," he warned, voice shaking but steady. For a moment, the taller man hesitated. Maybe it was the look in Mark's eyes, or maybe they realized this wasn't going to stay quiet. They cursed under their breath and stormed out. Silence followed. Rebecca's hands trembled as she adjusted her dress, tears welling in her eyes. Mark looked away, giving her space. "You okay, ma'am?" he asked gently. She nodded, trying to catch her breath.
Thank you. I didn't think anyone would hear me." Mark gave a tired smile.
"Guess I was in the right place at the wrong time." Rebecca almost laughed through her tears. "No," she whispered, "the right place at the right time." A few minutes later, hotel security arrived. The 2 men were detained, and the police were called. Rebecca gave her statement, still shaken but deeply grateful. Mark quietly waited outside, not wanting any attention. When the officers left, Rebecca approached him again. "You saved me," she said softly. Mark shrugged.
Anyone would have done the same, but they both knew most people wouldn't have.
In a world where too many look away, Mark had chosen to act. The next morning, life went on as usual for him. He dropped Lily off at school, fixed 2 cars, ate lunch at his desk. He didn't tell anyone what had happened. To him, it wasn't heroism. It was simply doing the right thing. That evening, his phone rang. "Mr. Jacobs?" The voice was calm and elegant. "This is Rebecca Miles." He froze.
"Oh, Ms. Miles, are you okay?"
"I am," she said warmly. "Thanks to you. Listen, I'd like to meet you. Could we have coffee tomorrow?" He hesitated, then said, "Sure, I guess." The next day they met at a quiet cafe downtown. Rebecca looked completely different from the night before, confident, composed. But when she saw him, her expression softened. "You didn't just help me," she said. "You reminded me that there are still good people in this world. I've spent years chasing success and building a company, but I forgot what truly matters. Kindness, courage, and doing the right thing." Mark smiled shyly.
"I just did what anyone should." "I wish more people were like you," she said.
Then she took out a card and handed it to him. "If you ever need anything, a job, a recommendation, anything at all, call me."
"I mean that." He thanked her, unaware that her promise would soon change his life again. 2 months later, the auto shop Mark worked at shut down.
The owner retired suddenly and Mark was left without a job. Bills piled up fast. He tried everything: small repair gigs, side work, anything to keep things stable for Lily. One morning, his phone buzzed. It was an unknown number. "Mr. Jacobs, this is Rebecca Miles," she said. "I heard about your situation. Can you come to my office today?" When he arrived, her assistant led him into a bright conference room with tall glass walls overlooking the city. Rebecca greeted him with a warm smile. "I told you if you ever needed anything, I'd be here," she said. "My company is launching a new division for automotive innovation. We need someone who's practical, skilled, and understands everyday people."
"I want you to lead that team," Mark blinked, stunned. "Me, but I'm not an engineer."
"I'm just a mechanic," Rebecca smiled gently. "You're much more than that. You're someone who acts when it matters."
"That's the kind of person I trust to build something meaningful." Tears welled up in his eyes.
"I don't know what to say." "Say yes," she said softly. And he did. Months later, Mark was thriving, leading a small team, developing new systems, and finally giving Lily the life she deserved. But more than success, what stayed with him was a simple truth. One moment of courage had changed everything. Rebecca often told her board the story, not about the attack, but about the man who walked in and reminded her that kindness is not weakness. It's strength in its purest form. Sometimes life puts us in unexpected places, moments where we must choose between silence and action. Mark chose to act, not for praise or reward, but because kindness was part of who he was. That single choice, to step forward instead of turning away, became the ripple that turned fear into hope and strangers into friends. So, if you ever find yourself at that kind of crossroads, remember even the smallest act of courage can change someone's world. Because kindness isn't just about what we do, it's about who we are when no one's watching. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to Kindness Chronicles, and share this video with someone who needs a reminder that real heroes still walk among us. Quietly, kindly, and often at just the right moment,